Hey guys, welcome to episode 10 of the TSC Industries Yamaha R3 Superbike build series. In the last episode, I showed you our complete Superbike motor. This has been built up and finished. Now it's ready to go in the frame. A couple of episodes back, when our Daytona CCS racing event was looming, we had to put a stock motor in here out of our other bike. Right now we're gonna tear this thing down, rip the motor out, replace it with our Superbike badness, and we're gonna aim to squeeze the first startup into this episode, and hopefully in the next episode we will show you the dyno session and tuning, and hopefully have some results for you. Can't promise that yet, but we'll try our best. So for now, I'm gonna get started. This is gonna be it for me talking for a while. We'll show you some time-lapse footage, and we'll jump back in and tell you how we did. All right guys, here we are, 45 minutes from when we started. Got to this point. We are pretty much ready to take this motor down. We'll just take a couple more screws. We need to remove these on both sides, and we already have the nuts off the main mounts in the rear. And the motor will be free to come down. We'll be able to replace it with the Superbike motor. To get to this point, I removed the bodywork, I removed the airbox, the tank, the exhaust. I left as much connected to the bike as possible, that way I could get it all back in. What made this process vastly simpler and quicker is the fact that we have the racing harness that we developed for this bike on this bike, and that doesn't have any of the extraneous parts that street bikes do. This is basically just the necessities for track riding. So that pretty much cut down the process by probably half hour to 45 minutes. All the body work on the stock bike is pretty convoluted. It's got a lot of panels. Race body work just is meant to come off and on. So that was pretty simple. I didn't really catch any snags. A couple of fasteners that I want to replace because they just don't make sense if you're going to be moving motors in and out. Like the screw that connects the starter to the electrical system. Yamaha put in a Phillips screw. I'm going to change it to some sort of a hex head. No real conversions in this process. We're going to take this down, put the Superbike motor in, bolt everything back up, and then we're going to get into the ECU, flash in some different fuel values to be safe when we first start it up. Then we're going to pump some oil through the motor to make sure all the bearing surfaces are wet, install spark plugs, and give it a whirl. You get like motor condom in place. You ready? Okay, I'm ready. I'm about to unload it. Get the tool seated. All right, go ahead. Out. Okay, do the other side quickly. All right. Top first. Okay, bottom's coming out. It's free. Yup, it's on me. Shimmy me back, please. All right. Whew. Ah. Ready. Good.
Good?
Yep. Pulling that condom. Oops. All right. Let me shimmy myself in there. That's as far as it'll go. All right. Let's do the rear first. Hold on, I lost the shim. Okay, it's through. All right. Let me align it. Okay. Feel it out, nice and easy. Make sure you engage the threads really nicely. Give it at least like 6-7 turns. I'm actually comfortable now. Can't really shimmy the other side too much, so.
Looks like it's dead on.
Okay, get it snugged up, almost to bottom out on both sides.
For the frame side?
The fronts. Did it just get looser?
Yep.
Okay, now this guy and its brothers after that.
Top ones?
Yeah. Don't use the tool just yet. Bottom everything out by hand.
There you go.
Let me have the tool. Thank you. I'm going to keep applying pressure upwards. Get them pretty snug. Torque them in the next step. Do all three on the other side the same way. Okay, orders in. All right, guys, time is here. The bike is rebuilt with the Superbike motor in it. Took me roughly just over 3 hours to strip it down, drop the stock motor, and put this back in. I had some help from my colleagues here. Was pretty painless. I really like this bike in the race form. It allows for changing parts pretty quickly. Our electrical system just disconnects, reconnects. It's really cool. Right now I'm at the point where I will try a startup for you guys, but before I do that, I will have to flash a different map into our fueling system to keep this motor safe. Since we have a motor that breathes a lot more than a stock motor, I want to make sure that I supplement some gas in there to not cause it to detonate and cause problems. I'll start it up. I won't be able to rev it for you guys because we don't want to do that yet. I'm going to bring it to a dyno, break it in, seat the rings, and then we'll rev it, load it up on the dyno, tune it, and see what kind of results we get. For now, all we can do is show you the startup, show you the sound, but first, let's go ahead and flash it. I have it all hooked up here. I'm using an FT ECU setup. I've already built a map that should keep the bike safe. I just need to flash it onto the ECU. All right, so as the ECU is writing, you just have to wait. It just takes a couple minutes, and then we will have to reset the electronics on the bike. I'll show you guys how I do that. On these particular bikes, the diagnostics cable needs to be reconnected after you disconnect the uplink cable, and then we have to reset the bike's power, cycle it off and on, and then it's ready to fire up. Okay, we've successfully written to the ECU, and we are ready to disconnect from the bike. I'm gonna power it down, disconnect my link cable, reconnect it into this plug here. This plug needs to be plugged in line here to make sure that you have a tachometer. Now we're going to cycle the power on the bike. That resets all the codes. And on our bike we just have quick disconnects, allowing quick swaps of the battery, so this is really simple. And now we are ready to power up the bike. All right, motor sounds good. Everything seems to be mechanically sound. There's no rough ticking noises or anything, means that we assembled it right. John did a good job on this. We've come this far. Hope you guys really enjoyed this video. And the next one's gonna be the one that everybody's been asking for and wants to know the results from. We'll take it to the dyno. We're gonna break it in and we're gonna tune it and see what kind of numbers we can milk out of it. So I hope you guys will join us for episode 11. I'm done for now. I'm Bart. I'll see you guys next time. If you guys need any parts for your R3 or any advice, check out tstindustries.com.